In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can send up to 2000 messages on Instagram using automation and not having to use any virtual assistants. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So as you can see here, I prepared this whole document that you can copy yourself, download it, and use it for your own purposes. Feel free to do it. It's in the download section. And now let's look at it. So in order for you to send out up to 2000 messages a day, we need to go through certain steps so that you can achieve the desired results, which is booking more appointments, right? So firstly, we need to find the leads on the platform, on Instagram, and the most usable strategy would be to search for big profiles in your niche and look for the people that they are being followed by or the people that they are following. Let me show you quick example. So if you go on Instagram and we search, for example, business coach, and we can start opening it up with pressing Control, right? And the target here is to find either their followers and either someone who has between, let's say, 1,000 to 10,000 followers, because when they have more than that, most likely they are not being followed by all relevant people, although this one is being followed by somewhat relevant people. But if you want to target business coaches, we need to find someone who is most likely following these profiles and these other coaches, because what happens is that the people in the same niches, they actually follow themselves and they grow their profiles together like that most of the time. So let me actually find a profile and show exactly how one of them looks. Okay, so just a disclaimer here, it's not gonna be easy to find those profiles, but for example, this one looks kind of alright. Although he's some fitness coach, he is following some other people in his niche. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Right, this one is also being followed by some of the people in similar business to her, and you will find these profiles that are following a lot of people, that are being followed by a lot of people. These are the rabbit holes that you will find yourself in. So just as an example, let's take this profile and use it for our next steps. Okay, so we'll remove all the other profiles. And what do we do right now? Okay, there are also other ways you can look for relevant people in your niche. That would be also that can be hashtags, that can be trying to type. Okay, so this is also very useful. So you can type business coach in Instagram, and now you start seeing these people, right, that either have too much followers, but some of them are actually good ones that you can use to target. You see, this one would be also a decent one. So once you find these profiles, what you can also do is go onto YouTube and do the same thing. So let me show you just that. So you can type business coach, and once you do that, you search for these, you open up these profiles, right? So for example, this profile.
Every morning I wake up at 2:59 a.m., 1 minute earlier than David Goggins.
You click on their profile, right, and you are at another profile that you can potentially target. So these are gonna be the ways you can find the people. You can search by hashtag, right, and then here you can probably also find some of the businesses. You can even script hashtags. In some cases, I have not really seen too much of a success with this, so if you find a success with it, that's good for you. Now we want to scrape those leads, right? So if you want to contact leads you found with an automation tool, you first need to scrape them and export them into some CSV or XLSX file. So in order to do that, we use extension called IG Roman. Once you open it, we go, in this case, we are trying to extract followers. So click here, Roman, select this one, and then click here, enter the username, And now I'm doing this from my profile, so I don't really want to ruin my profile or get banned if that's the case. So what I'm gonna do is, just as a safety net, I'm gonna increase the wait interval. So the more you put, the more safe you are, and the more time it's gonna take in order for the scrape to shut down. Because on Instagram it's pretty hard to get the user profile data, so you need to be cautious with that. So optimally run this on some fake profile, on profile that you don't use. Now you click on it, it starts, and then it starts exporting, right? Once you are finished, you just drag this to the right and you export it to XLS. So now I'm gonna show you how one of these files can look like, and we'll go into next steps. Okay, so this is how one of those files can look like once you export it. In the Grow menu, just click copy and insert it here into the sheets. Once you do that, you will get something like this, okay? There is also actually another way you can scrape this, and this is what I'm doing lately, is to hire someone on Upwork or Fiverr who will scrape the profiles for you. And you should aim for, a good price would be around $1 per 1,000 profiles scraped, because sometimes the this automation won't really work for you that well. So if it doesn't work for you, then I would highly recommend you hiring someone from these platforms. You can also buy database software like Apollo.io, but from my personal experience, the leads aren't really that high quality. So I rather just use someone that scrapes this for me, and then I just do the magic myself. So now we have about 20,000 people here. And what do we want to do? We don't really want to contact all those 20,000 people, because only about 2,000 to 3,000 of them will be relevant to us. So we want to filter them out based on our specific parameters, so that we only contact people who might need our solution or who might be interested in it potentially, right? We want to just contact the most relevant prospects so that we can get the highest conversion rates. Now, in order to do that, we need to filter out, right? So there are a couple of things we can filter out here. First thing would be the bio. This would be the most important one. I will go into that shortly, but before that, you can filter out the followers count. So for example, we click here on the first row, click here on the filters, it will insert filter. Also a disclaimer here that for some of you, you might find it hard to navigate in these big files, because it takes a lot of CPU to actually process this amount of data. So you might want to split the file into two and then operate with it. Now, once we are here, for example, in the followers list, we can go is greater than. So for example, if you just want to contact people that have 500 plus followers, we can do that. And same thing we can do for total amount of posts, for total amount of following of the people, how many people are they following. And also you can mess with engagement rate, but I wouldn't really touch into that. Now, once you do that, we also want to filter based on the bio, right? And this is very important, because this is where most of the quality of the leads are going to come from. So here's the problem that there is in Google Sheets with filtering, right? So you can filter based on keywords that contain, but what you can only do is only do one keyword, right? So for example, if you want to target coaches, agency owners, these people, most likely some of them are going to have these keywords in the bio, but if you just have to use one of them, it's going to be very hard for you to find all of the relevant ones, right? Because some of them might have something like help, some of them might have something like edit, or I don't know, copyright, all these things, right? So in our case, we want to filter based on multiple keywords, and this is exactly why I developed this formula that I'm going to show you right now that allows us to do exactly that, right? And no, I'm not a magician. What I just do is go into ChatGPT and ask it a lot of questions, and it will tell me all the answers, guys. So I'm using the free version. So if you are unsure sometimes about any formula that you maybe want to implement with Google Sheets, I have been playing with Google Sheets for a year plus, and I found so many of these hacks that in combination with ChatGPT you can achieve. And so really, if you are unsure about anything, even if one of my formulas doesn't work for you, for example, you have different, the BIOS located in different columns, or anything else is different for you, then you can just insert the formula there in ChatGPT and give it a prompt, what you want to do with it, and then you just talk to it like a human, and it will help you out for sure. So now once we had that figured out, what you just do is, let me do this once again with you. So actually we want to delete this filter since it doesn't help us that much. And right now what you have here is this. Okay, so I'll just delete it and show you how it works. Right now you can see my computer isn't really catching this. It's pretty hard to process all this information, so it takes a little bit of time, but essentially what you want to do, you just want to paste this formula in, and sometimes that also takes a little bit of time, yeah. But as you can see here, there is J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6, right? This is the placeholder for that. Okay, so it is, if you click on it, it is comparing based on those 5 or 6 keywords that we've inserted here, and that we are going to use to filter out our ideal prospects. Now, disclaimer here, you can add as many as you want. So for example, what you would do is just copy this, Control C, you would just paste it here, and then slash comma. Okay, that's all you have to do, and then you would just add here another keyword. Now remember to not make this empty, because then everything would fit into the keywords contained, and you don't really want to do that, right? So once you set the keywords, now you want to just right click here on this button, and it will spread through the whole document, and this will make things easier for you. And now what you want to do is just click here on the filter button and filter out the blanks and the no's. Okay, actually there was a problem, because as you can see here, sometimes the bio is empty, and what we can do to solve that, so that the formula applies to all the bios that are populated, which is something we want to do anyways, is we filter by condition here and click on is not empty. If we do that, it only includes bios that are not empty. Now if you right click on this, it will start loading up, because as I said before, it's not that easy for the computer to load up, even though I have a pretty solid one right now. So okay, now finally it loaded up, and what we do now is just click here on the filter button and do it once again. Just click the ones that say yes in there, and as you can see, we have about 1,600 leads that have 500 followers plus, and that include our keywords. Now what you want to do with it is copy these 3 things. This is all we need. Now you just want to create a new sheet here. Let me delete this one, and we just insert it here. Now what you want to do is actually personalize our message. So we want to use the first name personalization in order to get better response rate, and also get people to reply more. Now how do we do that? Okay, this is where our Uncle document will come in and help us out. So first name personalization, we just copy this bad boy, and we create new link here, and we will call this first name. Okay, and now we just, that was a mistake, let me fix that. Okay, so we need to put here the full name, and now this guy, actually what do we need to do here is just edit this to A2. Okay, and let me just explain to you how this all works. So I have not created this formula myself, that was my good friend ChatGPT. So it looks pretty complicated, but it works out. Now what does it do? Okay, so it splits the first name from the full name, and it only contains the first name, right? So for example, here it only takes Benny. From here it only takes Rodolfo. Okay, in some cases it's not gonna be so accurate, because someone is fucking named World Class Agency. Okay, nobody gives a fuck about that. But yeah, if they want to be called that like that, we just call them like that. We cannot do anything else about it. Now, that is it for this. But if the full name is not registered as a full name and it's just one line, then it's just gonna use a word that we are using here called there. Okay, but in most cases it's not gonna happen. Now what we want to do here is also change this up to capital username like this, because next up we are going to use a tool called IGDM automation, and this is where we are actually going to be sending out the automated messages on Instagram. And for this I would just recommend using this tool in the beginning, because right now so many tools on Instagram have been not working recently, so this is at least one of them that should be still working, and I recommend you using that, because we can personalize there the first name, which is really important for us to get better responses. Now once you install it, we just click here, and what do we do, right? Let's create a new bot called IG bot. Okay, what do you click here is bot type. We click DM, I'm pretty sure it's DM bulk by bulk. And now we just select custom followers, custom users I mean, and now we select personalized messages. And what we need to do here is actually download this sheet. So we download it into CSV. Once you do that, we click on that bot again, and we need to create it again. Don't worry, IG bot. Now we click DM by bulk, and we click here custom users, personalized messages, and then we just insert the file here. Now what we do is we don't skip any of it, I'm pretty sure. Yes, this is for the times where you want to be running this multiple times, right? So for example, you contact 50 people in one campaign, and then you stop it, then you go to sleep, right? The next day you want to contact again. In this case, then you would just put like 50 or the number that you've used the last time. You can also do here is on default, it doesn't message people that you've already messaged, but in our case, we've already messaged some of the users in this campaign. So we're just gonna take this box, and now we just select a DM list. I'm gonna show that to you in a second. And this is pretty much all that we need for this to work. We just click save. Okay, I need to keep here the 0, but this works. Now for the DM list, we just create some list, right? So the way you do it is you, for example, type hey, and now if you want to personalize, you need to use these headers of the columns. So for example, we want to personalize the first name, right? So we need to type first name like this. How are you doing, right? This is just an example. Don't really recommend it for a script, but doesn't matter. Just add DM, and then we go back, and if we want to run the automation, what you do just here is click here on this button, and right now it's working out. Okay, this is all from this automation. And now we are going to move into the final part, which is the exciting part, where you can actually multiply this and scale this operation to up to 2000 messages per day. Okay, so let's just close this down and turn it off. Okay, now also, by the way, this costs, the premium version costs like 10 to 20 bucks, so that's pretty reasonable for you to use. And now we move on to the next one. Okay, so now you should try this and make it work for one profile, for just one profile initially, right? So this would be probably your personal profile that you have been using, and you want to make it work for at least one of the profiles, because, and what do I mean by work? By making it work means that if your goal is to book appointments with people, you want to book at least one appointment in 100 messages sent. Okay, so if you send out 50 messages, if you send 100 messages, you should book at least one call with someone. If you don't have that, you shouldn't even think about scaling it up, because if you are not booking any calls from your current outreach, you are not gonna be booking more calls from just scaling it up. And this has been the mistake I've made in the past, and it has cost me a couple of months to figure out. So don't be like me. Start small. Don't worry about it in the beginning. You are just trying to establish proof of concept, okay? So once you establish proof of concept of having at least 1% appointment booking rate, then you can think about scaling up to multiple profiles, okay? So this section for most of you is just gonna be how you can scale this up long term. I'm not trying to tell you to do this right now if you have not sent any messages yet, or even if you have been sending out messages consistently but not booking any appointments, because this is not gonna solve your problem, okay? Now, in order to know your ABR, appointment booking rate, you need to track your outreach. And fortunately for you, I've already recorded a video about tracking your outreach and sales before, so make sure you watch that video too. It should pop up right now, but if not, then you can see on my channel, and it's gonna be a real valuable one, because if you're not tracking anything about your outreach, you have no idea how good is it, okay? And this is what I've been doing before. I've been not tracking anything, and I had no idea how good it was. I just knew that it wasn't working, okay? But I didn't know where to start, what to fix. And in order to do that, you need to track it so that you know what parts of the outreach you need to fix. Now, and let's just look at the multiple profiles, right? So you can send only about 100 DMs a day per profile on Instagram. So that is the native limit. I've seen some people push it to up to 150 messages a day on profile, but that needs to be each account. So if you want to scale up, you will need to buy more accounts and more proxies. But before you scale up, as I said before, you need proof of concept, right? So I will stop repeating myself for now, but just wanted to really drill this down to you. Don't start buying multiple profiles before you establish proof of concept. Trust me. Now, here are the things required for this strategy, right? So first things first, let me just close these bad boys. We need to buy accounts, right? That's a bummer. And I've actually bought it from this website called Box Account Buy It. It is actually a very well-known website for buying profiles for numerous platforms, right? So in order for here, you just click on Instagram accounts. Sorry, I cannot spell today. And Instagram account type, you actually want to buy aged Instagram accounts between 2 to 4 years, okay? This would be the best option for you. And I would just start with 10 accounts. Okay, $28, that is pretty affordable. If you already have the proof of concept, right, you should be earning some money. Now, once you have that, so I wouldn't recommend freshly created Instagram accounts. I've tried that in the past, and they just get restricted so quick, you don't even realize. So you cannot do anything on those accounts. Like, you have to be warming up them for months before you can do anything. Now, the third option would be to buy aged accounts with 1,000 plus followers that are from year 2012 to 2016. But from my experience, it just isn't worth it, right? So in this case, you would have to pay $250 for the same amount of accounts. So in my case, what I recommend is just buy this one. This is the best strategy for you to use. And then if you want to buy account, actually what you can do is buy those accounts, warm them up. I've actually recorded a video about it here that you can watch. Here is my most watched video for some reason. And you can warm them up and also buy followers on these profiles, right? So you can make them as valuable as these in just a matter of like, these followers can cost you like $2 or 10 cents. Okay, so it is really inexpensive. Now, once you buy the accounts, you want to warm them up. There's a video about it here. Now, you want to buy an anti-detect browser. So what does this mean? Okay, anti-detect browser. Why do we need that? We need that because Instagram is tracking our activity based on our IP address, right? So if, for example, I would be using multiple Instagram accounts in multiple browsers, I'd be thinking, yeah, but I'm smart, I can do 200 outreaches from this. You cannot do that, unfortunately, because Instagram will track your activity right here, and it will only allow you to do as much activity as per one account, not per two accounts, right? So this is why we need to use these two things. So this one would be anti-static browser. So the most popular and the most used one would be HideMyAC. And I can quickly show you how that works. So for example, in my case, right now we've been descaling a little bit, so there are not going to be as many accounts. But as you can see here, you just have browsers here. You need to also buy proxies, which I'll get into shortly. But you just buy it, open it here, the profile, and now you are rolling, right? So right now we use it for LinkedIn mainly. And this is how it looks like. The billing wise, you can start at the starter, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you should be able to get rolling even with the start, depending on how many profiles you want, right? But remember, these are annual prices, so for the monthly, probably $10 a month is your go-to in the beginning. And you will just add profile, and now you also need to buy proxies, because without proxies you are still on the same IP address, so it doesn't help you. You need to buy those two things together. And so like this is not really expensive, right? So you are paying for like $10 for this a month, and for the proxies you can be paying like $1 to $5 per one proxy, depending on what quality it is. And I would just recommend you to then check the quality of the, I would not use free proxies, because you will find free proxies, but they are just it is a huge risk for you, because those accounts that are on those proxies are gonna get banned more likely than not. Okay, so the proxies we are buying from is private proxy, and you can use this link, or you don't have to use this link. Okay, so you want to buy the residential static, right? So it starts from like $5 a month. Okay, and that is essentially it. Now if you really want to scale this up, and this is what we have done when we are running our Done For You appointment setting agency, is we were using actual cloud. Okay, and the way we use that is we actually had a cloud-based virtual machine where we had like a desktop where we are running the campaigns, right? Where we are running the profile. So what it looked like is something like this. So if we just open up like multiple profiles here, and on each of those profiles we were running an automation, right? So for example, on this one you just run the Instagram automation, and what you do is just minimize it so that you still need to keep it on the foreground in order for the automation to run. And then you do the same thing for another profile, same thing for the other profile, right? And you can even minimize them to this point. And here we had like 30 to 50 accounts running like this, and they would be constantly on, so you wouldn't have to reset the campaign, and it would just constantly run. We had a tool called prospects.com that is not available anymore, unfortunately. They closed it down, but it let us run the automation constantly, so we would not have to worry about it at all. And you could just access from the cloud, because right now when you are running the automation, you need to be active, you need to have the computer on. So you can just run it throughout the day, and if you have multiple profiles, things get really hard to manage. So that's why we had this, and we had just one virtual assistant running this whole system for us. Okay, and this was huge. So let me just close this down and get back into the video. So if you really want to think about scaling this up, this is how you do it. You need to buy the anti-static browser, you need to buy the proxies, and then what I would really strongly recommend is to buy some cloud-based Windows desktop. Okay, this will make the job really easy for you. You then just hire some appointments, some virtual assistant that is going to manage those messages for you, and then you can be booking 5, 10, 20 calls a day if you are sending out 2,000 messages a day. Like you can be sending out up to 100 messages a day per profile, right? So you just need 20 profiles and you're good to go. And also the virtual assistant get access to all of those profiles without you actually having to give him any passwords. That is also a great thing about this tool called HideMyAC. Now that will be it for this video. I know I have not gone into any scripts or anything like that. I just wanted to keep it pure technical. so that you just know how to implement it, how to start reaching out to people yourself, automate it yourself, get proof of concept, and then how you can scale this operation up to multiple profiles and reach out to up to 2,000 people per day. Now, to summarize this, you first need to establish the proof of concept before scaling, and there are also many other variables determine whether or not you are going to succeed with the outreach or not, and I have not covered them all in this video. Okay, so there are a couple of them missing here, for example, like scripts and other things that also play a big role in your outreach. So this is gonna be it for the video. Please leave me a feedback of what you want to see next, so that I can make a video for it. So I have a lot of ideas to choose from, and there are gonna be videos upcoming pretty soon. So take care everyone, and let's get those appointments booked.